So here in Design Center, we're going to go ahead and add some keypads, and then we'll talk about the styles and profiles. So the stations that we're going to use are, it's under Stations, wire link. That is where your wired stations are. We are going to look for the keypad station. A couple of different ways I can bring this into the project. I can drag and drop it, is one of the ways. I can also double click on it. Or there's a shortcut called Control K, which adds me a keypad. So we're going to do 3 keypads similar to what I have over here, and let's go through and set up different profiles for each one of those. Now the first thing that I want to show on this keypad though is that I can name it here, and so I'm going to go ahead and I've got an Easy Touch 2 station over here. And then I also have a RP Touch station, and then I also have a Absolute. And so I want to make sure I have all of those named so that when I match up the different keypad styles, I can do that. So over on the left hand side under Style and Profile Views, notice here in my Explore objects, I've got Keypad Styles, Button Styles, and LED Styles, and a few others we'll talk about later. So the Keypad Style is the first one that I want to edit. On any of these things here, if I right click, I could add another one of those styles. I also have the ability to copy and paste. Notice that this is highlighted in red, so with a Control C and a Control V, I would paste that. So the first thing I'm going to do though is rename this. I'm going to do the Easy Touch 2 first. And then I'm going to go through the settings. Notice I've got a type which is standard. If I click on that drop down, you'll see that this is where I would change when I'm going to build the one for the Absolute. This is where it would be. So right now I'm going to leave that at standard. Button shape is Easy Touch 2. The Trim Line 2 plastic faceplate is what I have on this station. And as you look at my Easy Touch 2 station, you'll notice that it is black. And so I'm going to come into here and change the faceplate to black, and I also need to change the trim color to black. Now if you look closely, right when I click that, you'll notice that it changes on that graphic. Now if you see, I still have white buttons, so let's go ahead and jump over to the button style, and I'm going to change that name of that to Easy Touch 2. And then I'm also going to change that over to black. And so now as I go back to the keypad style, you'll notice that this represents exactly what I have over here on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that and Control C, Control V, and paste that. I'm going to name this one the next keypad that I have, which is my RP Touch. Now this is for showing you guys how to set this up. Typically in most of your jobs, you would not be mixing different keypad styles into a project. Hopefully you see the point of this for consistency and the look for the homeowner. So now I'm going to work through. I've got my button shape. I'm going to drop this down and pick the RP Touch. And then I've also got my design. So I'm going to grab my drop down and change that to the soft line metal. And then I'm going to pick my color, which I have white. So I'll leave that as white, but notice I've got multiple colors there that I can pick. And also this is where I would select my font, and I can also check this for the auto backlit, which we discussed earlier. And this is the minimum for that auto backlit. And so we have default settings for each one of the different keypad styles. But you're also welcome to adjust those if you want it higher or lower. You also have the ability to adjust sound frequency, sounder length, and fast blink rate, which is something you can play with later on. So moving down the row, I need another keypad for the Absolute. So I'm going to do this the other way, where I right click on the keypad and click Add a Keypad. And now I have my third style here. I'm going to call that my absolute. Change under the type to the Bitticino absolute, and then pick my design here, which I have the rectangular glass, I believe, crystal glass. Okay, so now that we have these three made, let's go ahead and make the association with the keypads that are out there. Now, one quick way to do this is with this used by, I can click this and drop it down, and then I can just simply drag and drop each of those into that place. And so by doing this, notice now that if I click on the button styles, it does have the ability to have one of the standard type of buttons. So if you look back at the keypad style, you'll see that those are black on the RP Touch as well as the Easy Touch 2, but it automatically built me the absolute button style just by making that association with a specific keypad. So let's go ahead and highlight the Easy Touch 2. I'm going to copy that and paste that, and then I'm going to change the wording on that to an RP Touch, change the color of that to white, and then make sure that my associations are being used correctly. I'll drag this keypad over to there, and now as I jump back to my keypad style, I should have white here and my buttons there. So at that style area, those two things are done. Now I can jump back to my area view and make a couple of fine adjustments. First off, this button right here in the object editor looks like an old square touch button. This allows me to select the type of button configuration that I have. Since I have the Easy Touch 2 with the 5 buttons, I'm going to select that, and now you'll see that now I have all 5 buttons. Keep moving on, go to my my RP Touch, which is an 8 button, not a 4 button, so same thing, select that, and now I've got those 8 buttons. Same thing with the absolute. I can make sure if there's any adjustments I needed to make there. But since there's really only the 6 buttons available with the absolute, that one I won't need to make any changes on. Now, while we're on this page, notice under Area View, I've got several tabs across here. Properties tab describes what's going on with whatever I have highlighted in this editor. So if I highlight the button area, notice this changed. Now I can go in and I could name the button there. I also have a Keypad Style tab, which would allow me to select one of those different keypad styles that I have or edit it. So keep in mind that this could cause you problems if you're editing the wrong one. And so if you're having multiple styles, keep in mind that this does not affect only this individual. This affects any keypad that's associated with this absolute style. So if I was to change this faceplate to a different type of faceplate design or color, it would affect the entire thing. Same thing with my button style and my LED style. If I have the entire faceplate highlighted and I come into LED style and make adjustments, it will adjust the entire keypad. So here on the left hand side under the object editor, notice I've got the preview that shows me the keypad. I also have 2 other tabs here. The use by shows me everything that is used by that keypad, and then auxiliary gives me the ability to come in and add the motion sensors, which we were talking about on the inputs 9 and 10 on the back, or dry contacts, IR receivers, etc. So this is where you would come if I was going to select, let's say, the motion sensor. Then I would put that into place. Then I could come over here and select the EM40 that we talked about. I can even associate it with the area and put the task right here on it. So this is where I would make edits on the back side of that keypad to those different inputs. Now notice on the back of input 10 versus input 9, there was a few other things that popped up, like the light point sensor and the wind sensor and temperature sensor. If I'm only doing one of those things, I can only utilize those on 10, not on 9. Back to preview mode, let's look at configuration. So notice my system is connected up to the controller. I have a program and an update button that we talked about earlier, and next to that is my configure station. So when I click on the configure station button, notice that my stations now are flashing, and those are all up online. So I'm going to go through my house now. Now imagine if I had a wireless network router up and running, even if the internet wasn't in the house. I would be able to take my laptop room to room, go to the keypad station, see the one that I have highlighted. Let's see, it's the Easy Touch 2. Great. 3-button press, 1, 2, 3. The number comes in, it moves down to the next station. I walk to the next room. That one's configured. Then to the last keypad, 3-button press, and it is now all of those serial numbers are in. I click on the configure station button once more to take it out of configuration, and now I would do either a program or an update. Since I haven't done a program to this file for a while, I'm going to go ahead and do that program. You'll also be able to see the hardware checking. So let's see, we've got a couple errors, and the error it gives me is, notice I have the Equinox 4.0 station on the bus and it is not configured anywhere. And so it's letting us know that there's still something outstanding. Now that we have the stations configured, let's go ahead and mess with the LED colors. So I'm going to go back over on the left to the style and profile, and I'm going to come down to the LED styles, and I'm going to build a new LED style. I'm going to right click on it, add an LED style, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to, first off, I'm going to name this. And let's say I am doing a fan control and I want to have 4 steps on that fan. So I need to have 5 colors. So I'm going to call this my fan 5 color. And then here are my color types that I can select. Then on the states, notice I have a whole bunch of options for states. Anything from 1 to 100 number of states. So when I select this, then I can now adjust the colors for each of the different states. Notice something here. First is always off. The first state is my off state. It's the color that I want to represent off. So maybe I want my off state to be completely dark, then I would leave it at black. If I want my off state to be represented in a red, I would select one of these reds. Now, something to notice with this color wheel, it is designed to on brightness is what this is for. So if I want a medium type of brightness in my colors, let's say I want my off to be not very bright, I would use one of those. And then I just go through and I'm going to just pick a couple of different colors as I work my way through the potential or in the future fan control. All right, so now that I've built this, I can come back to my area view, select the keypad I want this to be on, and let's put this button right here in the middle. I'm going to call this my fan, and I'm going to come back over to the LED style, which is the bottom tab here, and I'm going to select the different style that I've created. Now if I press an update, which is the one that looks like the processor, so I've gone and I've associated a task with that, and so now I can test it either from here. You can see in the software that it is changing colors, stepping through those different LEDs that I had selected. I can also do that from the device and make those changes there.